In this paper, written at the Legal Theory and Cognitive Sciences Lab of the University of Bologna, we investigate empirically into Herbert Hart's concept of internal point of view. To put it very briefly, the internal point of view is the social practice of legal officials who adopt the rules of the legal system as justified standards and who use a specific set of legal concepts made possible by those rules. We have called these concepts, in connection with social ontology, institutional concepts, and we have analyzed their cognitive features in comparison with other kinds of concepts, taking into account the difference between legal experts and non-experts. We also formulated a distinction between institutional and meta-institutional concepts, these last being general concepts like justice, validity, sanction, responsibility, that are not strictly speaking concepts of legal institutions, but are part of their axiological and teleological background. We had three hypotheses. First, that institutional concepts are intermediate in the abstract concrete continuum, given their connection to social practices. Second, that the conceptualization of legal experts is different from that of non-experts in a way that reflects the concept of internal point of view, showing a deeper and more direct adoption of institutional concepts. Third, that the conceptualization of meta-institutional concepts is different from that of institutional concepts, showing a higher level of abstraction, particularly in non-experts.
We test this hypothesis with an embodied grounded cognition account according to which concept reenact our previous interaction with word reference. Abstract concepts like justice pose a real challenge as they are more detached from sensory motor experience than concrete concept. Current research suggests moving beyond this classical dichotomy and to examine a difference between concept kind across multiple dimensions, taking into account individual differences. Within this framework, we explore the domain of institutional concept and whether their representation vary as a function of expertise. We select a set of concrete concepts of food and artifact and abstract concepts that refer to theoretical and legal terms, including an equal proportion of pure and meta-institutional concepts. Expert and non-expert in the law file rated concept on several variables. In addition to the classical ones, we include a dimension related to language acquisition, perceptual and motor modalities, emotional balance, inner and cognitive state, and sociality. For each rating, we compare the average score of the two groups. As predicted, institutional concepts evoke both concrete and abstract components. They are highly contextually situated and more familiar than other abstract concepts and show a strong link with linguistic and social experience and emotional positive valence. Our results confirm an effect of expertise. This graph shows the dimension in which jurist and non-jurist evaluation don't overlap, indicating significant differences. We can see that jurists perceive institutional concepts as more concrete and contextually situated and associate them with tactile and positive emotions. Experts also give a higher emotional support for both kinds of institutional concepts, but when compared to non-experts, this effect was marked for pure than meta-institutional concept. In contrast, the two groups equally contextualize pure institution, as they denote common social practices such as marriage or contract. Crucially, jurists were more able to connect the meta-institutional concept to a specific frame in which they are usually applied.
Our results show that institutional concepts are perceived as more concrete than other kinds of abstract concepts, both by legal experts and non-experts. But when it comes to the ability to apply them in context, legal experts are superior to non-experts, in particular with meta-institutional concepts, as if they were better than non-experts in connecting broad ideals like justice, validity, responsibility to a specific institutional framework. Finally, legal experts associate both pure and meta-institutional concepts to higher positive emotional valence than non-experts. This suggests that the notion of internal point of view may have two aspects. First, an epistemic aspect, associated not just with the ability to contextualize legal notions, but rather with the ability to connect general social, and one could also say moral ideals to a specific legal framework. Second, a practical aspect associated with the positive valence. So I take the epistemic internal point of view when I know how to use the relevant concepts and formulate arguments with them, but I take the practical internal point of view when I accept and embrace the institutions. The distinction between an epistemic and a practical internal point of view is an interesting analytical distinction which is not present in Hart. In order to have a better understanding of this issue, we are going to run another experiment. We want to see whether the association we make between positive valence and practical internal point of view in law is warranted. To do that, we will investigate whether experts in fields other than law, such as mathematics, also rate the concepts in their fields as positively connoted. If they do, it means that emotional arousal is characteristic of the epistemic and not necessarily of the practical aspect of the internal point of view. A difference will have to be drawn between being emotionally connected to institutions because we know them and operate within them, and being emotionally connected to institutions because we accept and embrace them. Thank you.